Hey everyone, to start out this look, I'm first applying my Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation. And this is the lightest color that they have. It's called Linen, and it's still a little bit too dark for me. So I'm taking my Covergirl Outlast foundation in Ivory, and I'm just mixing that on top of my face with a damp beauty blender. Then underneath my eyes, to act as a concealer, I'm using the Covergirl Outlast foundation, and it's a little bit lighter than the regular foundation that I have on, so it kind of creates that highlighted effect. And I'm just using the damp beauty blender and I'm bouncing it on top of it to get as much coverage as I want. And then I'm using a pressed powder just to set all of that into place so it doesn't crease. Before I start on the eyeshadow, I like to prime my eyelids. This is the Lorac primer, and this primer is a little bit too sticky, so I like to go over top of it with the pressed powder just to reduce the stickiness so it doesn't grab the eyeshadows that much. And the first eyeshadow that I'm using is Wedge from MAC, and I'm just using a large fluffy brush, and I'm applying that all over my eyelids, and then I'm blending that up into the crease. To get the eyeshadow as opaque and as dark as I want it, I add a few layers of that, just because it's a matte eyeshadow, so it takes a little bit longer to build it up. And then in the crease and on the outer corner, I'm using this brown eyeshadow from the Morphe 35K palette. It's like a warm brown, and I'm using a small fluffy brush just to apply that. And I just keep building the color into the crease as dark as I want it. And then once I'm happy with that, I take this large brush from Real Techniques. It's the Deluxe Crease Brush. And I just go on top of it just to make sure that it's blended. Then to highlight my eyebrow bone, I'm using Soft and Gentle from MAC. And then underneath on my lower lash line, I'm using the same eyeshadow that I used in the crease. And I'm just using a small fluffy brush, and I'm just putting that on the lower lash line. For the liner, her eyeliner is really smoky. It's like not very precise. So I'm using this Catrice black waterproof eyeliner, and I'm just haphazardly putting it onto my eye. And I also put that into my upper waterline and also my lower waterline as well. And then to make it look even smokier, I'm also taking that right into the inner corner of my eye as well. For the wing, I'm just extending out the black liner that I'm using, and it's kind of hard to get a good wing with these, but again, it doesn't have to be that precise. And then if it is kind of sloppy, you just take an angled brush with some black eyeshadow and then just go over top of it, and that'll even out any bumps or ridges. I'm also taking the black eyeshadow onto the lower waterline as well, and this will make it last longer and make it darker and also make it look smokier. If you think your liner looks a little bit choppy and unblended, just take the first eyeshadow that you used all over your eyelids. This is Wedge from MAC, the same one, and then just go over top of it, and that'll make it look blended, and it'll get rid of the bumps and ridges. Then once the bumps and ridges are gone, then you can go back over it with a black eyeshadow, and it'll also make it look smokier and just more diffused. Then with a clean brush with nothing on it, just go underneath on your lower lash line and just go back and forth until it looks blended. Now I'm just adding some mascara to both my top and bottom lashes. Moving on to the eyebrows, I'm using this NYX Micro Brow pencil in ash brown, and I'm just using short little feathery strokes to fill them in. Back to the lashes, I'm using these false lashes from Eylure and Cool Kitty, and I'm just applying them as close to my lash line as possible, and I'm using Revlon Precision Lash Glue. To complete the brows, I just fill them in with a little bit of a light brown eyeshadow to make them look more natural, and then I like to set them into place with this Maybelline Great Lash Clear Mascara. I wanted to make my face look really bronzy for this look, so I'm using this bronzer from the NYX contour palette, and I'm just using this e.l.f. blush brush to apply that into the hollows of my cheekbones, and then I brought that up onto my forehead and my temples as well. And for blush, I'm using Mocha from NYX, and I'm applying that to the apples of my cheeks and then blending it backwards. And then to make sure all of this looks really nice and blended, I'm just using a pressed powder and I'm going over top of all of it with a large fluffy brush. Then to highlight the skin, I'm using Soft and Gentle from MAC on the high points of my cheekbones, and then I put a little bit on the Cupid's bow of my lip. For the nude lip, I'm using this lip liner from NYX in Peekaboo Natural, and I'm just going to line my lips and then fill them in completely with it. For the lips, I'm using this lippy stick from ColourPop in Oh Snap, which is such a beautiful nude, but I wanted to lighten it up a little bit, so I also used MAC's Myth, and then I used this lip gloss from Covergirl on top of it. This is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching.